Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived an old lady. She was known by everyone for her kindness, her wisdom, and, above all, her happiness. No matter what life brought her way, she always wore a gentle smile. Wonder, how could she be so happy all the time? One day, a young man from the village approached her and asked, "Why are you always happy? Don't you ever feel wrong?" She looked at him with a twinkle in her eye and said, "Dear boy, life has ups and downs. Some days are joyful, others are sad. But happiness comes from inside, not from what happens around us." Curious to understand, I asked, "But happy no matter what?" In response, the old lady closed her eyes for a moment, as if traveling back in time. Then she began to speak in a soft, gentle voice, as if sharing a precious memory. "When I was young," she started, "I had a loving family and a simple life. But one day my husband fell very ill. We were poor and couldn't afford any medicine, and he passed away. It was the saddest day of my life. I thought I would never be happy again. I missed him dearly and felt so much pain." As she spoke, a flashback unfolded before the young man's eyes. He saw the old woman as a young girl, full of life, laughing and playing with her friends. He saw her meeting her husband for the first time, their eyes locking in a deep, loving gaze. And he witnessed their life together, filled with simple joys and quiet contentment. He saw the birth of their children, their home filled with laughter and warmth. And then he saw the illness that befell her husband, the worry and sadness that clouded her face. Finally, he saw the day her husband passed away, the tears streaming down her face as she held his hand for the last time. The young man felt a lump forming in his throat as he realized the depth of her sorrow. But he also noticed something else. Despite the pain, a flicker of determination shone in the old woman's eyes. Back in the present, the old woman continued her story. "But then I realized I couldn't bring my husband back by being sad. I had to be strong for my children. They still needed me. They needed a mother who could care for them, guide them, and love them. So I made a promise to myself. I will not let sadness consume me. Instead, I will find happiness in every new day." The old woman's eyes twinkled as she shared, "Every morning I wake up and look for something that makes me happy. Maybe it's the sunlight streaming through my window or the beautiful flower growing outside my door. Sometimes it's just the fact that I am alive and have another chance to make someone smile. There's always something to be thankful for. And when I focus on these things, happiness fills my heart." The young man pondered her words. He had always thought that happiness depended on external circumstances, on having everything he wanted. But here was this wise old woman who had experienced both great joy and deep sorrow, teaching him a valuable lesson. He asked, "But what if something really bad happens? How can you still be happy then?" The old woman smiled knowingly. "It's not always easy, but remember, everything passes. Even bad times. They do not last forever. As long as we have life, we have hope. I focus on the good things I still have, my health, my friends, or simply the fact that I am alive. When we choose to focus on what we have rather than what we don't, happiness becomes easier to find." The young man felt a sense of calm wash over him. He realized that happiness was not a destination, but a journey, a choice he had to make every day. He thanked the old woman for her wisdom and began to look for small joys in his own life. Soon, he realized he too could find happiness, even during difficult times. News of the old woman's wisdom spread throughout the village. People from far and wide came to seek her out, hoping to learn the secret to her everlasting happiness. As the years went by, the village became a happier place because they learned that happiness is not about what you have, but how you view life. And so the old woman continued to live in her village, watching the people around her grow and change. She knew that happiness was a choice that each person had to make for themselves. But she also knew that by sharing her wisdom, she had planted seeds of joy that would blossom in their hearts. For as long as the sun shone and the flowers bloomed in the village, so would the spirit of happiness.